Most people do not become financially trapped because they buy one obviously stupid thing. They become trapped because they build a life that quietly requires perfect income. At first, everything looks normal. The apartment is a little nicer than before. The car is a little better than before. The phone plan is a little more expensive than before. The subscriptions feel small. The food delivery feels deserved. The weekend spending feels harmless. The monthly payments fit. Nothing looks dangerous by itself. But then something changes. A slow month comes. A job feels unstable. A bill arrives at the wrong time. A family emergency appears. An unexpected repair happens. And suddenly, the life that looked comfortable starts to feel like a machine that cannot stop running. This is the hidden cost of a normal middle-class life. It can look safe from the outside while being extremely fragile on the inside. The danger is not always poverty. The danger is being overcommitted. The danger is needing every paycheck to arrive on time, at the same level, with no interruption, just to keep your life from becoming stressful. When people say they feel broke, even though they make decent money, many of them are not lying. They may have income, but they do not have room. They may have possessions, but they do not have flexibility. They may have a good lifestyle, but they do not have margin. And margin is what turns money into peace. Without margin, income is just fuel for obligations. It comes in, gets divided up, and disappears before it can become freedom. This is why a person can earn more than they ever imagined and still feel nervous every month. Their life has become expensive to maintain. Their bills are not just bills. They are promises their future self has to keep. Rent is a promise. A car payment is a promise. A phone payment is a promise. Credit card debt is a promise. A subscription is a promise. A loan is a promise. Every recurring cost says, "Future me will pay for this." And the more promises you make, the less future you own. This is where many people misunderstand affordability. They ask, "Can I afford the payment?" But the better question is, "Can I afford the loss of flexibility?" A payment may fit into your budget today, but it can still weaken you tomorrow. It may not ruin you, but it can make you easier to scare. It can make you stay in a job you hate. It can make you avoid risks that could improve your life. It can make you panic when income changes. It can make you say yes when you want to say no. The monthly payment is not just money. It is pressure. It is a claim on your future choices. And because the payment is small, people underestimate the pressure it creates. Modern life is designed to make commitments feel painless. Instead of showing you the full price, it shows you the monthly cost. Instead of asking for sacrifice now, it spreads the pain across the future. Instead of making you feel the weight of the decision, it tells you that it is manageable, normal, and affordable. That is how expensive things become emotionally easy. $1,000 feels serious. $40 a month feels harmless. A $36,000 car feels big. $500 a month feels like a budget line. A yearly subscription feels like a decision. A monthly subscription feels like background noise. But background noise can still drain your life. The problem is not that every payment is bad. The problem is that every payment reduces your ability to breathe. One payment may be fine. 10 payments can change your personality. They can make you more anxious, more reactive, more dependent, and more afraid of disruption. This is why the most expensive word in personal finance is often not luxury. It is normal. Normal housing, normal transportation, normal eating out, normal upgrades, normal trips, normal memberships, normal debt, normal convenience. Normal is powerful because it does not feel like a choice anymore. It feels like the baseline. Once something becomes normal, cutting it feels like loss. And when too many expensive things become normal, your income stops building wealth and starts defending your identity. You are no longer spending to improve your life. You are spending to avoid feeling like you are moving backward. That feeling is dangerous because it makes people protect a lifestyle even when the lifestyle is hurting them. They keep the car because downgrading feels embarrassing. They keep the apartment because moving feels like failure. They keep the spending habits because changing them feels like admitting they cannot afford the life they built. But there is a difference between being able to pay for something and being strengthened by it. A lifestyle can be affordable and still make you weak. It can be impressive and still make you fragile. It can be comfortable and still leave you exposed. Real financial strength is not measured by how much your life costs. It is measured by how easily your life can absorb a shock. If one missed paycheck would create panic, the lifestyle is not as secure as it looks. If a small emergency pushes you into credit card debt, the lifestyle is not as affordable as it feels. If you cannot leave a bad situation because the bills are too heavy, the lifestyle is taking more from you than money. It is taking choice. And choice is one of the deepest forms of wealth. People often think wealth is about buying more, but wealth is also about needing less from every paycheck. Wealth is the ability to pause. Wealth is the ability to wait. Wealth is the ability to handle a problem without turning it into a crisis. Wealth is having money that is not already assigned to someone else. Wealth is being able to look at your life and know that not everything depends on the next deposit. That kind of wealth is quiet. It does not always show up in photos. It does not impress strangers. It may not look exciting, but it changes how you feel inside your own life. You stop feeling hunted by due dates. You stop treating every surprise as a disaster. You stop confusing motion with progress. You stop needing every month to be perfect. The strange thing is that many people trade this kind of peace for a lifestyle that only looks richer. They buy things that raise the cost of their life, then wonder why the raise did not make them feel safe. They make more money, but their minimum survival number rises with it. This number matters more than most people realize. Your minimum survival number is the amount your life needs every month before you can relax. If that number is close to your income, you will feel pressure. If that number rises every time your income rises, you will feel stuck no matter how much you make. If that number is low compared to your income, you will feel powerful, even if you are not rich by other people's standards. This is why two people with the same salary can have completely different lives. One person needs almost every dollar to maintain their lifestyle. The other person has space. One person looks richer. The other person sleeps better. One person gets applause. The other person gets options. The mistake is assuming the applause means the first person is winning. Sometimes the person who looks ordinary is the one building real freedom. They may drive an older car, live in a smaller place, delay upgrades, cook more often, and avoid payments. From the outside, that may look less successful. But inside their financial life, they are buying something rare, distance between income and pressure. That distance is called margin. And margin protects you from becoming a prisoner of your own normal life. The modern economy does not want you to have margin. Margin is bad for companies because margin means you can wait, you can compare, you can say no, you can cancel, You can repair instead of replace. You can choose not to upgrade. You can leave money unused. Businesses make money when your desire becomes automatic. They want your habits, your fatigue, your insecurity, your boredom, and your convenience needs to become recurring revenue. They want you to think in payments instead of totals. They want you to think in monthly comfort instead of long-term freedom. They want you to believe that every small upgrade is self-care, every convenience is efficiency, every premium version is deserved, and every payment is normal. But normal payments can quietly turn into financial handcuffs. The handcuffs do not always hurt at first. They feel soft. They feel comfortable. They feel like progress. Then one day you want to make a change and you realize you cannot move easily. You cannot take time off. You cannot switch careers. You cannot slow down. You cannot absorb a bad month. You cannot help someone without hurting yourself. You cannot invest aggressively because your lifestyle already made claims on the money. That is when you understand the real cost. You did not just buy things. You sold flexibility. You sold future peace. You sold some of your ability to choose. This is why financial freedom begins before investing. It begins with lowering the cost of being you. Investing is powerful, but it is hard to invest your way out of a life that absorbs every dollar. A high return cannot fix a lifestyle with no margin if you never keep enough money long enough to invest. The first investment is often not a stock, a fund, or a property. The first investment is creating space. Space between income and expenses. Space between desire and decision. Space between stress and spending. Space between what you can afford and what you choose to commit to. This space may feel boring at first because nobody celebrates what you did not buy. Nobody congratulates you for avoiding a payment. Nobody sees the money you kept available. But that boring space becomes the foundation of confidence. It becomes emergency savings. It becomes investment capital. It becomes debt freedom. It becomes patience. It becomes the ability to wait for better opportunities. It becomes the quiet strength that makes you less dependent on perfect conditions. The more expensive your life becomes, the more perfect conditions need to be. Perfect job, perfect health, perfect economy, perfect timing, perfect income, perfect month. But life is not perfect. A strong financial life is built for imperfect months. It expects surprises. It leaves room for human reality. It understands that the goal is not to maximize lifestyle at every income level. The goal is to build a life that can survive uncertainty without falling apart. This does not mean you should live cheaply forever. It does not mean you should never enjoy money. It does not mean comfort is wrong. Comfort is good when it is supported by strength. The problem is comfort without resilience. Comfort without margin is fragile. Comfort funded by debt is fragile. Comfort that depends on never losing income is fragile. Comfort that cannot survive a small emergency is fragile. Real comfort is not just a nicer thing. Real comfort is knowing the nicer thing does not own you. Real comfort is being able to pay for it without sacrificing your future self. Real comfort is enjoying your life without becoming afraid of losing the image of that life. To build that kind of comfort, you need to stop treating every raise as permission to upgrade everything. A raise should not automatically become a bigger apartment, a newer car, more subscriptions, more delivery, more trips, and more invisible commitments. A raise should first become breathing room. Give some of it to enjoyment, because life matters now. But give some of it to margin. Give some of it to savings. Give some of it to debt reduction. Give some of it to investments. Give some of it to future you before lifestyle takes all of it. If you do not decide where the raise goes, your habits will decide for you. And habits usually vote for comfort now. The easiest way to lose a raise is to let your definition of normal expand before your wealth has time to grow. This is why you need rules before the money arrives. Decide that not every income increase gets spent. Decide that every new recurring payment must replace an old one or pass a serious test. Decide that you will look at total cost, not only monthly cost. Decide that you will keep some spending capacity unused. Decide that freedom is a priority, not whatever is left over after comfort gets paid. This one idea can change everything. Unused spending capacity is not wasted money. It is power. If you make $5,000 a month and spend $5,000, you may feel normal, but you are fully claimed. If you make $5,000 and spend $4,000, you have $1,000 of power every month. That power can become savings, investing, debt freedom, education, rest, or opportunity. The gap is where your future begins. The bigger the gap, the more choices you can create. The smaller the gap, the more your life depends on the next paycheck. This is why the gap matters more than appearances. A person with a fancy lifestyle and no gap is vulnerable. A person with a modest lifestyle and a strong gap is building strength. The world may reward the first person with attention, but life often rewards the second person with freedom. The hard part is that protecting the gap requires saying no to things you can technically afford. That is uncomfortable. It feels like you are denying yourself. But there is a difference between deprivation and direction. Deprivation says, I cannot have anything. Direction says, I am choosing what matters most. Deprivation feels powerless. Direction feels intentional. You are not saying no because you hate comfort. You are saying no because you want comfort that does not trap you. You are saying no because every yes has a future cost. You are saying no because the version of you 5 years from now deserves more than a pile of old purchases and no options. One of the best questions you can ask before any upgrade is this: will this make my life better or just more expensive to maintain? Many upgrades do both, but not equally. Some truly improve your health, time, safety, or relationships. Others simply raise your expectations. A better mattress may improve your life. A reliable car may protect your time. A safer home may reduce stress. But some upgrades are mostly identity purchases. They help you feel like the kind of person you want to be seen as. Those purchases are not automatically wrong, but they are expensive when they become the foundation of self-worth. If you need spending to prove progress, progress will always feel expensive. If you need upgrades to feel successful, success will always move away from you. The goal is to separate real value from emotional pressure. Real value gives you something lasting. Emotional pressure demands proof. Real value supports your life. Emotional pressure performs for an audience. Real value can be boring and still powerful. Emotional pressure often looks exciting and then fades. Before you commit money, ask what problem the purchase is solving. Is it solving a real problem, or is it soothing a feeling? Is it giving you durable value or temporary validation? Is it increasing freedom or increasing the monthly cost of being you? These questions matter because money mistakes are not always math mistakes. They are often identity mistakes. People buy to feel safe, attractive, successful, responsible, generous, respected, or in control. The purchase carries emotional meaning. That is why cutting back can feel painful. You are not just losing a product, you feel like you are losing a version of yourself. But the deeper version of yourself is not protected by spending. It is protected by stability. It is protected by choices. It is protected by not being constantly one bad month away from panic. If you want a life that feels rich, build the parts nobody can easily see. Build cash reserves. Build low fixed costs. Build skills. Build patience. Build the habit of waiting. Build the ability to enjoy things without owning every upgraded version of them. Build the confidence to look less impressive than you could look. That confidence is rare. It means you are not letting the market decide your baseline. It means you are not letting comparison rent space in your budget. It means you are not using your income to perform security while quietly feeling unsafe. The great irony is that many people who look successful feel secretly trapped, while many people who look ordinary are quietly becoming free. The difference is not always income. It is how much of their income remains unclaimed. It is how many promises they have made to future bills. It is whether their lifestyle expands faster than their foundation. It is whether they are building a life for applause or for control. If you are already overcommitted, the answer is not shame. Shame makes people hide from the numbers. You need clarity. List every recurring cost. Not just rent and car payments, everything. Apps, memberships, subscriptions, insurance, debt payments, delivery habits, storage, software, services, payment plans, and automatic renewals. Then ask which ones still deserve a claim on your future income. Some will, many will not. Cancel the ones that no longer serve you. Lower the ones that can be lowered. Pay off the ones that keep you trapped. Delay the upgrades that would make your baseline heavier. Do not try to fix everything in one emotional weekend. Build momentum. Every canceled payment is not just saving money, it is reclaiming future choice. Every debt you remove is not just a number going down, it is pressure leaving your life. Every dollar of margin you create is not just extra cash. It is proof that your life does not need to consume everything you earn. Over time, these small changes begin to change how you feel. You stop fearing your own bills. You stop needing every paycheck to rescue you. You stop seeing unused money as a reason to spend. You start seeing it as oxygen. You start seeing it as time. You start seeing it as freedom that has not been assigned yet. That is when money begins to feel different. It is no longer only a way to buy comfort. It becomes a way to buy strength. It becomes a way to protect your future attention. It becomes a way to stop living at the edge of your income. And once you experience that feeling, it becomes harder to trade it away for another normal payment. This is the real reason lowering your fixed costs can feel like getting a raise. When your monthly obligations fall, your current income becomes more powerful. You do not need more money to feel more room. You can create room by reducing what your life demands. A person who cuts $500 of monthly obligations has effectively freed $500 of income every month. That money can now build instead of maintain. It can serve you instead of leaving automatically. This is why financial freedom is not only about earning more. It is about making sure more of what you earn remains yours. Not yours for one day before it goes to payments. Yours in a deeper sense. Yours to decide. Yours to save. Yours to invest. Yours to hold. Yours to use when life changes. The more of your income that remains truly yours, the richer you will feel. The less of your income that remains yours, the more even a high salary can feel like a pass-through account. So before you chase the next raise, ask a different question. What would happen if I made my life lighter? What would happen if I stopped upgrading every category? What would happen if I protected the gap between what I earn and what I spend? What would happen if I refused to let normal become a financial trap? You may discover that the fastest way to feel richer is not to look richer. It is to need less of your paycheck to survive. It is to own fewer promises. It is to keep more future income free. It is to build a lifestyle that gives you room instead of pressure. Because the goal is not to have a life that impresses people for a moment. The goal is to have a life that still feels steady when nobody is watching, when a bill arrives, when income changes, when plans break, when the economy gets strange, and when you need time to think. That is real security. That is real comfort. That is real wealth. And it starts when you stop asking, can I afford this payment? And start asking, does this payment make me less free?